She hasn't been to school since the massacre scare, volunteered Harry. I know it, said Tom. Caddie stopped to think. No, she hasn't, she said slowly. So had thought so much about John and little Hankinsons that Katy had never entered her head. Now a series of vivid pictures flashed across her mind. Katy standing in the barn, her eyes wide with her fear, her hands pressed to her breast, saying, "Cross my heart." Katy fainting when Caddie returned from her wild ride. Katy pale and silent, the day starting for home, holding her mother's hand, the last of all Katy's place on the bench in the corner of the schoolroom, empty. "I wonder," said Caddie. "Maybe she's sick," said Tom, trying to seem careless about it. "Maybe she is," said Caddie. "And if she is, I guess it's my fault. We'd better go and see her." They ran to the house for permission. "Yes, do go," said Mrs. Woodlawn. "I've worried about the poor little thing myself. Here, take her some of these molasses cookies, and see that you get back before dark." "Couldn't we take the scalpel to show her, Caddie?" inquired Tom. "I'll let you," said Caddie, "but she won't like it." "Aw, golly, I bet she would. She's the only one who hasn't seen it. I'd hate picture. I'd hate to be the only one who hadn't seen it, wouldn't you?" Caddie wrapped up the scalpel in a piece of brown paper, and away they went. "You go up to the door and knock, Caddie," said Tom, when they reached the little log house where Katy and her mother lived. "I just came along to keep you company, you know." Caddie went up and knocked, and Mrs. Hyman let them in. "Yes, Katy's been very poorly ever since the scare," said her mother, "but do come in. I think the sight of you will do her good." Katy sat up in bed, a little knitted shawl about her shoulders, and pillows spiraled behind her. Her face was so pale, her eyes so blue, her hair so golden, like a little girl in a dream or a fairy tale. On the rough wall beside her was a pin, the finest valentine from Dunaville's store. Tom looked at it and suddenly lost his voice. "I'm sorry you've been poorly," said Caddie, coming up to the bed. Katy reached out her little thin hand and caught Caddie's sturdy one. "Oh, Caddie," she said, "I want to feel if you are real. You look so real. I'm glad you came. I've had such nightmares since the scare. In them people are always hunting for you, and I'm the only one who knows that you are away being scalped by the Indians. And I can't tell, because I've crossed my heart. Oh, you can't know how awful it is." Caddie sat down on the edge of the bed, awkwardly holding the little hand in hers. "I shouldn't have made you cross your heart," she said. "It was real unkind of me, Katy, but I didn't mean it that way. You see, just then, I was more scared of the white folk than the Indians. Katy, honestly, you mustn't be afraid of the Indians. Most of them are just as good and friendly as can be. Let me tell you about John and what he gave me to keep for him before he went away." Tom drew a chair, and together they told her about John's departure and the scalp belt show, and how Mrs. Hankinson had gone away, and what Caddie had done with her silver dollar, encouraged by little shadowy smiles about her lips. They piled on the lively details they could remember or invent, and before they were through, Katy was laughing, and there was a little pinkness in each pale cheek. "Oh, I should have liked to see them with their bright red handkerchiefs," she said. I almost wish I could have seen the scalp belt show." "Well," said Tom, "it's here," and he tapped the brown paper parcel which lay on his knee. "Hey, here," echoed Katy, looking at little startled. "Yes," said Tom. "Caddie thought you'd be afraid to look at it, but I knew you wouldn't want to be the only one who hadn't seen it." "She doesn't want to see it, Tom. It's only a bunch of an old Indian scalp," said Caddie, fearing that all the cheerful talk would have been wasted if Katy were obliged to see the gruesome object. But Katy sat up straighter in her pillow. There was a kind of resolute bravery about her, and no one had ever noticed there before. "I do want to see it very much." Tom unwrapped the brown paper and held up the belt and saw. "And isn't that a beauty?" he demanded. Katy gasped. "Yes," she said. "Yes, it is a beauty." She even touched one of the tails of hair, and when she looked quite proud and pleased. "Do wrap it up, Tom," said Caddie. "And here are some cookies Mother sent you, which you'll Fine, much nicer than scalps. I hope you'll be well soon, and now we must go. Thank you for coming, said Katy. I think I will be well soon, and indeed she did look better already. As they rose to go, Tom's eye rested again on the rose's red valentine. Katy looked at it too. Then their eyes met in some embarrassment. Tom, said Katy, I guessed who sent it. Tom laughed. You did. Pretty smart of you, Katy. All the way home, Tom whistled and sang that song that they were singing before. Fade day, full day, roll low, full day, low, low, full day, roll low, day, roll, lido, whatever. Okay, page 177.